Hey guys, today we have another jacket battle showdown on our hands, this time between the North Face Thermoball Eco versus the Patagonia Down Sweater. That's next. Welcome to Backcountry Renegade. I'm Jeff. Today we are looking at two popular jackets. The first one by the North Face. This is the North Face Thermoball Eco. Now, Thermoball is a type of insulation made by North Face to mimic the qualities of down. And inside you have a ball-like structure that kind of feathers, and you put it in each little baffle. Therefore, it resembles the qualities of down. Now, it's nice and compressible, it's lightweight, but the benefit is that if it does get wet, it can retain its loft. On the other hand, you have the Patagonia Down Sweater, which, as the name suggests, made from goose down. Now, when you approach these two jackets, you need to consider, which do I prefer? Do I prefer synthetic or do I prefer down? Now, there's pros and cons to each, so you kind of want to come into this kind of debate with an answer or preference on where you're leaning. Now, if you're in a mostly wet environment that's cold, then it might be better to go with the synthetic, because synthetic can actually keep you warm when it gets wet. And the other thing with down is if you're in a cool, dry environment, then maybe down might be the way to go, because it will generally be lighter and more compressible and warmer to an extent. So you want to go in with those two things. What do I want? And then when you compare and contrast these two, then you can have a better idea of the pros and cons of the various features of the jacket. So let's get into that now. Now, the down sweater is a classic jacket from Patagonia. It is one of their top selling jackets. It's been around for over 10 years with little alterations and comes in multiple sizes and colors. You can even get it in a hooded version or a non-hooded version like you see here. It has a regular fit and it sells new for $229. And if you're lucky, you can find it on sale every now and then. This is actually made of global traceable down, and the shell is made of recycled materials. So it's touted as being able to give the perfect amount of warmth. Now compare that to the Thermoball Eco jacket, which is North Face's third generation version of the Thermoball. It is made to mimic the qualities of down, but it's a nice jacket that is an all-round type jacket where you can wear around town or use it outdoors even as a mid-layer. It's very similar to what you would see with the Nano Puff by using synthetic insulation as well. It's lightweight and it can be used for various activities. It comes in multiple sizes and colors. You can get it also without a hood like this one, or with a hood if you would like for a little bit more. Now, the Thermoball Eco is North Face's attempt to bring eco-conscious insulation made from post-consumer recycled content. So giving back a little bit, trying to do their part in the world. It also sells for $199. And at the filming of this video, you can actually find it for $149. So looking at these two, there are a lot of similarities to note. Both these jackets are lightweight and compressible. Both these jackets have decent warmth to weight ratio. Both have elastic cuffs. Both these jackets can serve as a layer underneath a shell, and both are windproof to an extent. Now, when you're looking at these two jackets, as we stated earlier, it really is going to come down to the debate between down versus synthetic. But let's look at a few other differences as well. And starting with the down sweater, looking at the shell fabric here, it's made of wind-resistant ripstop polyester. It's by 20 denier by 30 denier out here, so it has great durability in the areas you really need it. And so it's also treated with a DWR finish to help you repel water. It can shed rain to an extent, but it's not fully waterproof. And the thing about it with the down is when it does get wet, it will lose its loft. This polyester is also made of recycled material from previous year's models. Now, the Thermoball Eco is 30 denier all over. It's 100% of recycled material, and it also is coated with a DWR finish. It has a feel that is a little bit more plasticky, and notice how much more shiny it is than the down sweater here. Now, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. For me personally, I think I like it a little bit more duller than the shiny kind of feel and plasticky feel of the Thermoball Eco. Let's talk about the insulation. The down sweater is made of 3.6 ounces or 85 grams of 800 fill powered down. This is European down. So it's a really good high quality down insulation that keeps it super lofty, but also keeps it lightweight. So this is a really nice thing. Now, what it means by global advanced traceable down, it means you can actually trace the down from farm to factory. So you know exactly the geese and everything where this down is sourced. And it's done in a very good way where the geese are never force fed or live plucked, which is the best sustainable way to source the down. Now, one of the downsides of this down, no pun intended, is that it's not hydrophobic down, which means it's not coated with mink wax. And so I really would have loved to see that with this in particular, to just really add to its versatility so it doesn't lose its loft as quickly when it gets wet. Now compare that to the Thermoball insulation. The Thermoball Eco is 100% post-consumer recycled polyester insulation. Now they partnered up with Primaloft here to create this structure that's called a Thermoball, and it's kind of like a ball that feathers out, and it's made to mimic the qualities and structure of down while being synthetic. So it does a good job of being able to do that to an extent. Now North Face says that the Thermoball insulation is equivalent to 600 fill of down. So you're going to need a lot more of it to keep you warm than the 800 fill, because you have 800 that's going to do a better loft than the 600 ultimately. This insulation that you find with the Thermoball Eco does compress, and it does do a good job to an extent of mimicking the qualities of down. Let's talk about the weight of each jacket. The down sweater is 371 grams, or that's 13.1 ounces. Now compare that to the Thermoball Eco, which is going to be the heavier jacket, which is 431 grams, or 15.2 ounces. Now, if you're looking at a synthetic version of a jacket for something in the backcountry, you want something that's going to be a little bit lighter. This could be a deal breaker if you're taking it out for backpacking and hiking and stuff like that. But if you're wearing it around town, you know, this is still a great jacket, but it tends to be a little bit on the heavier side here. Now let's talk about the warmth. The down sweater, I felt cold around 19 degrees with this. Now the Thermoball Eco, I felt colder around 27. So the weight to weight ratio definitely favors the down sweater here. And because you're having a really high quality down that's keeping the weight low, but also the loft high, it's going to keep you warm a lot better. Now let's talk about the quilting options. The quilting options for the down sweater is they have these baffles here. And the baffles actually help keep the down in one place, so it's not distributing all across the jacket. So it helps it keep it in one place. And this is kind of the structure that you typically see with down, these down baffles. Where compare that to the Thermoball Eco, they have these square baffles. And the square baffles are here so the insulation, the Thermoball insulation, doesn't move at all. And it can also, because you have this extra stitching, it does contribute to a little bit more weight. Now, preference-wise, if you're looking at a synthetic jacket, this square-like structure like the Nano Puff and this one here tends to be a little bit more stylish around. So just really a preference there when you are looking at these jackets. Let's talk about the pockets. Now the pockets for the down sweater are very similar to the North Face Thermoball Eco. Now the difference is you can see these slant a little bit downward, where these are pretty much straight down. And they tend to be also a little bit smaller. So you have bigger pockets on the down sweater compared to the Thermoball Eco. Now the thing about that is if you're wearing a harness or a hip belt on your backpack, because these are longer, you can fit more of your hands there, but they're not raised or anything, so it will still cut off a little bit. Now if it cuts off any form on the Thermoball Eco, you will have significantly less kind of room to put your hands in. So just something to consider. Let's talk about the inside pockets. Now, when you open up the down sweater, it does have one inside pocket in the chest pocket where you can zip it up. Now, when you do compress this jacket, it will compress into this inner pocket. And you can see because it also has this little extra zipper here inside as well. Now, compare that to the Thermoball Eco here. We open it up. We also have an inner zip chest pocket. Now, the inner zip chest pocket is not something where you compress it in. You actually compress in the side pocket. But this is a nice little thing if you want to store phone, keys, or a map or something like that. Those inner pockets can do that. Now let's talk about the cuffs. As you can see with the cuffs, you have a little bit more elastic on the down sweater than you do with the Thermoball Eco. The Thermoball Eco has the elastic cuffs on a little bit more on the inside, where the down sweater, the elastic is more on the outside. Both these have sufficient elastic to open up and even go over a glove, but they do a good job to keep the cold out as well. Let's talk about the hem draw cord here. The hem draw cord on the down sweater, you can see has two hem draw cords that you can tighten down your jacket nicely here to prevent any cold air from coming in. Compare that to the Thermoball Eco. It actually has one here on the outside, or on the inside here. So you can pull that and tighten it up. That seems to be sufficient. I can't really tell that much of a difference, which one does a better job, 2 versus 1. So just something to keep in mind. Let's talk about the fit. The down sweater overall has a better fit than the Thermoball Eco. It was a bit looser. It had more of a regular type fit, allowed you to even wear a few layers underneath if you chose to do that. Now the Thermoball Eco, it fit pretty decently, but the problem is once I started moving my arms and lifting up, like if I was gonna climb or reach for a hold or something, I felt restricted in the shoulder areas and the back areas where the arms are. And so it was a bit restrictive, which a bit tighter there, which I didn't really like. So as far as the fit, I would favor the down sweater. Let's talk about compression. Now, as I said, for the down sweater, it actually compresses into this inner chest pocket. So you would just go ahead and do this, and because it has a really high quality 800 fill, it's going to compress pretty nicely. All right, and then you have this other zipper on the outside, where you can just go ahead and zip it up, and then you have this little tab here where you can hang it from a carabiner if you chose to do that. Now for the Thermoball Eco, you would compress it down into the left side pocket, and you know that because it has on the inside this stow little cord here. So go ahead and just compress it in there. Now one thing that you see is both these don't have a little extra cord here where you can tie it, and because these zippers on the Thermoball Eco are a lot smaller, they're a little bit harder to do that. But I'm not going to zip it up all the way, but you can just see the size difference. The down sweater could easily compress more, but you can just see it's a little bit wider, where this one's compressed pretty good. That's the max it's probably going to go, but it's a lot harder to compress this one because it's 600 fill rather than the 800 fill. So this is going to compress a lot easier. So concluding thoughts, who won the jacket battle for me? For me personally, I have to give it to the Patagonia Down Sweater. And the reason is because the pros really outweigh the cons when comparing these two jackets. The first pro being that it is made of down. And so that's a really nice thing, which means your down jacket usually lasts longer than synthetic. Synthetic over time will gradually deteriorate, where down can regain its loft, especially when you wash it and get all the oils and dirt off over time. Another pro about the Patagonia Down Sweater is, for me, I think it looks a little bit more stylish. The look of the North Face Thermoball was really shiny. There's something about the exterior material of the shell that really made it shiny, and it really didn't appeal to me. The Patagonia Down Sweater also feels better. The shininess of that material, there's something about that North Face material that they use, but even inside the jacket in the liner, it kind of feels clammy a little bit, or even like you're wearing a trash bag at sorts. Now for the Patagonia Down Sweater, it felt a lot better to wear, and I just couldn't get over the feel or maybe the shininess of the North Face Thermoball. Another pro about the Patagonia Down Sweater is the fit. I thought the fit was really exceptional for this jacket. It has a relaxed fit a little bit to allow you to enable to have another layer underneath. Maybe if you wanted to have like a wool knit shirt or something, you can do that. And it still is also trim enough to not be too bulky. It felt just a little bit better fit than the North Face. Another pro about the Patagonia Down Sweater is it is lighter than the North Face Thermoball by a few ounces. And this is important, especially if you're into backpacking where every ounce matters. You want something that is compressible, that is lightweight, but it also is sufficient to keep you warm. And for that reason, I think the Patagonia Down Sweater is the better of the two jackets. Now let's consider the cons. The first con of the Patagonia Down Sweater is that it is going to be the pricier of the two options. Because it is made of down insulation, it is going to cost more, so it is therefore a bit pricier. Another con about the Patagonia Down Sweater is if you happen to get caught in a downpour and it does get wet, it will lose its loft and its ability to keep you warm. Therefore, it's something to consider if you do find yourselves often in cold and wet environments. It would be necessary to also either have a shell over top, or maybe it might be enough for you to go with a synthetic insulation jacket. So who won the battle for you? Was it the North Face Thermoball Eco or the Patagonia Down Sweater? Which one would you go with and why? Leave me a comment in the comments section and let me know your thoughts. Also, if you like what you saw, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more jacket battle content like this. And as always, thanks for watching.